understand what is the best fit for you as a developer to choose among those available options. I've got this Excel spreadsheet here to explain all the different use cases of HANA. I'm going to explain in detail in today's session. Before getting into the use cases of SAP HANA, I would like to spend a couple of minutes in explaining or providing a little background to SAP HANA in terms of what makes SAP to choose SAP HANA database and what is the SAP HANA evaluation in the last 5 years. I got this picture which shows the roadmap of SAP HANA for in the last 5 to 6 years. You can see from this picture in 2011 you got SAP HANA introduced as an in-memory platform. Primarily it is a database, and initially it is offered to the business warehouse customers, SAP BW customers. So the customers who are having BW on any DB can be migrated to BW on HANA and can leverage all the HANA capabilities to the full extent in terms of reporting performance as well as real-time analysis of planning and consolidation as well. And then in 2013, SAP offered the HANA database or platform to the ERP customers as well, which includes SAP ECC, CRM, and SRM, etc. All the traditional ERP systems can be migrated to SAP HANA and can leverage all the potential performance benefits from there. So with that, it is not only for OLAP system, but also OLTP processing can become possible with HANA processing, HANA database processing, which is a big change in SAP's ERP strategy applications. And then in 2014, Simple Finance introduced, and it is powered by SAP HANA. So the Simple Finance brought a lot of simplification to the tables, which is bringing up universal ledger and several master data tables together, and which makes a lot of data footprint reduction in the database, and then also improve the processing speed for transaction processing and also analytical reporting as well. And then finally, as for HANA, the future generation or the fourth generation application for SAP ERP with a lot of simplification of the data model, new user experience with UI5 and Fiori, and you got choice of deployment with on-premise or cloud, both options possible. And that's that's the starting point for the digital application strategy for SAP. We also have BW/HANA on the other side for data warehousing stuff to be done in HANA. Coming to the technical aspects of the course, I've got HANA 2.0 SP02 as a database platform installed on my computer. It's from Google Cloud Platform. It's in a HANA Express edition, which is a free software. I got it, and all my workshops, all the training sessions will be on this system. For S4 HANA, it is 16.10 I have got, and for BW on HANA, I got BW 7.5 on HANA as the latest application to use for this course purpose. Okay, now let's move on to the topic: use cases of or options of HANA. Yeah, so I got a simple Excel spreadsheet here, which you can see from my screen. I'm going to explain all the different use cases the developers of HANA work in, and it may not be possible to work on all the different use cases at a time. It's definitely impossible to work on. It's definitely impossible to work on all the different all the different use cases of HANA. Yeah, let's start with the first one. It's not a use case. I'm starting with the basic fundamental principle or methodology of HANA. It's code to database. So far SAP is being saying to do all your coding in the application layer, which is your ABAP, has been the programming language, and it's ERP and BW, all the different modules of SAP, which include CRM, SRM, etc. All of them are usually coded in ABAP system. All your data-intensive coding for reporting or data processing, transaction recording, everything, whatever it is, mostly done in ABAP application layer, and then data layer could be any database accessing, which is Oracle mainly. That Oracle was the preferred vendor for SAP for a while, for a long time, for the last 25 years, and we got IBM DB2, etc., Teradata, and etc. as the database platforms for this application layer. So SAP was losing some of the potential innovative things which they wanted to introduce just because they don't have a proper data. They have a proper data. Sorry, they don't have their own database with them. Every time they wanted to do some innovative thing, they have to go with the discussion with all their vendors and then get their buy-in for making this big change. It's a small change like a service pack upgrade, which is fine, acceptable by all the vendors easily, but a big change like S4, a complete redesigning the system, it's going to be hectic. It's a big challenge to the company SAP. So SAP is seeing this as a big challenge, and then they came up with their own database, which is in-memory platform databases, HANA. And then the methodology or the technology, what they're coming up with is to delegate all the data intensive logic to the database, not to the application. Don't do anything in the application. Push down everything to the database so that the performance can be much faster and efficient for the reporting and transaction processing. Okay, that is the basic principle which is designed behind the HANA. We're going to see the details of the benefits and the technology features of HANA in later point of time, but at this moment, this is the basic principle you may have to understand. Okay, and then jumping on to the HANA as a database. See, the first use case is pretty simple. HANA as a database, it's just a database. So far, we have got a lot of databases for SAP to run on. As I said, yeah, Oracle, Teradata, IBM DB2, SQL Server, all of them. In order to suggest HANA to the different clients, SAP is offering your ECC or any of the SAP systems can be migrated to HANA database, and you get all the benefits of the performance and all the benefits from SAP HANA platform. That's the selling point. That's the use case for the customers who are already running on ERPs, but a different database. So yeah, there are several clients who already went on with this approach use case, migrating their database from SAP any DB to SAP HANA. So it could be your ACC system, CRM system, BW system, and then and just the database which is running another application. So this is a simple use case. Just migrate your database to HANA, and then you continue to work on HANA, ECC on HANA by using ABAP functionality. You still can leverage all your ABAP coding, ABAP programs, everything. You don't need any big change to train your developers, users, and only change the experience speed, which is very good for them. Other than that, there is no real change to the business as well as the development, the supporting maintenance teams or the integrators, etc. Very simple use case. Just some basis consultant. It's going to be a project work for basis consultant, and some of the functional and technical consultants will be supporting to do the pre and post upgrade checklist activities, and then basis will migrate. Just Just they will use some DM tools to migrate the database from any DB to HANA database. That's it. And after DB migrated, and the post upgrade checklist will happen and make sure that everything is running fine, business as usual. That's it. Okay. Any questions on this one? Just put it on the chat window. I'll be able to answer that. This specific use case. Yeah, then it's the BW on HANA, which is the most popular and easy. I don't call it as easy, but most popular use case for several customers to go with it. You see, the SAP BW has been the data warehousing application for a while, maybe 15 to 20 years, and then it's been popular, widely used by all the clients. What is in it in BW to make it so popular, or to have BW on HANA, and who are going to work in BW on HANA? Who are the best fit for BW on HANA technology are the things which we're going to discuss in this particular use case. Okay. Yeah, so probably would have known about the interface and what BW does. If you haven't, I will just spend a couple of minutes to the best interest of the other participant. Just 2 minutes. I'm not going to get into the details of it. It's been pretty much widely known and popular in the market. How it's basically a ETL data warehousing application provided by SAP. Like BODS is offered as an ETL, and then there must be another data warehousing system which can be used for doing the data warehouse. But in case of BW, it can act as an ETL as well as a data warehousing application, and then the further reporting tools are BEX, and then business objects, and suite is for reporting analysis and dashboarding. This is the on the left hand side, you see the source data coming from SAP systems, could be non-SAP, and Oracle, Hadoop, DB2, whatever, all the other databases can be accessed to do the data transfer into the BW system, and then we do the data modeling in BW application, and then put the data into the BEX tools as a BEX tools consuming that. This is the traditional way of doing the BW application development, and then you got the business object suite on here. So now with the BW on HANA, what is happening here? You can see the HANA database is sitting as in this box, and then you're just migrating your BW application to the HANA database, so which becomes BW on HANA or BW powered by HANA. You can call whatever. BW for HANA is different, so I haven't gone to that particular thing at this moment. I'm talking about BW on HANA and BW powered by HANA, which is just migrating your database from any DB to HANA DB. Your functionality will remain same. You still continue to use your ABAP, and you can either work in your regular SAP screens for work, doing your job, creating your objects and etc. In your SAP Blue screens, regular SAP screens. And you can do your developments in Eclipse-based ADT BW modeling tool by using modeling tools as well. But there is no mandatory to do that. If you wanted to improve your project objects with a better performance, then you can do so. Otherwise, there is no such mandatory requirement to use the BW modeling tools. We're going to see all the different perspectives. We got the Eclipse installation on my computer here. Got a lot of different perspectives right here. You can see from my screen, or I can choose my perspectives from Open Perspective icon as well. So I got this as a modeling perspective, which is native HANA. I can build all the calculation views and etc. right there, and then I got a development perspective to build some native HANA development artifacts. And got ABAP on HANA perspective, and then this is one is for the BW modeling perspective. Choosing this button and getting into the BW on HANA prospect. This is Eclipse-based BW modeling tools installed on my machine. So you can see on the Project Explorer menu, I have the project created, which is accessing my BW on HANA system, and I also have an info provider menu to show all my info providers. So I'm going into the project explorer and I can create, right click on my project and choose new. I got a bunch of options available here to create a new project or create a folder or etc. I can create a composite provider or advanced data store object or data source, kind of a planning aggregation level for planning and planning applications. Got info objects. These are the different objects which are optimized for BW on HANA, and you can create them from Eclipse modeling BW tools only, not from the GUI screen which you will see traditionally. And you also see the query option to create the query in HANA Eclipse ADT tools, which makes you to a perfect replacement for Bex Query Designer. So there's not going to be any Bex Query Designer having queries created in there. So going forward, BW4 HANA and etc. It's the HANA Eclipse based BW modeling tools which are offering the query designer options for you. That's the BW on HANA perspective which I was talking about. So it's the same, the data extraction from different source systems, and then modeling in BW application, and then queries which are traditionally in Bex tools, and then finally to the business object suite. What is changed with BW4 HANA is since it's become mandatory to have HANA database, yeah, you got to do all your developments in the HANA Studio, not the HANA Studio or HANA Studio or Eclipse based applications. You have to do, there is no option to do all your, because whatever the objects you create in Eclipse, they will be display role in the SAP traditional system, which is ABAP systems. You cannot modify them. So most likely, if you're running on BW4 HANA, you will be using the graphical AD BW modeling tools in Eclipse or HANA Studio for your developments. And there are other options given in BW4 HANA, which are migrating your all traditional objects into BW powered by HANA objects, which are ADSOs, composite providers, and open ODS views. And it's the migration tools are very effective. So before BW4 HANA, there are several clients who migrated to BW on HANA and struggled a lot to optimize their objects into a newly provided objects for HANA, which are ADSOs. There was a considerable, significant amount of time involved in migrating, and also investing a lot of money in optimizing the objects to those ADSOs, cubes and optimized cubes and composite providers. But with the BW4 HANA, it's pretty much simple to migrate, and it's much flexible. A lot of things changed with BW4 HANA for the customers, and still it's going to be the best use case for the people who already have BW system and running on the BW applications. You also got little new stuff coming up, SAP Aura, which integrates data from Hadoop and HANA. It doesn't have to be a BW application, or it can be BW application as well, but it gets it builds an interface between Hadoop and HANA and integrates the data between these two big data solutions. Hadoop is a big data solution. You can do all the big data computing right here, and then you got HANA structured data with all the ERP hierarchies and etc. right here, and then you get the power of from both unstructured Hadoop computing engine and also structured HANA database together to do the OLAP reporting and operational reporting in using Aura. And the Data Hub is the advanced tool. I don't have much information about it. It's going to provide governance to all the different data flows right from source system to Hadoop or BW. If all the different data workflows are configured proper using governed and configured using Data Hub, and that's going to be the future SAP is going with. Okay, you got other ETL tools also to become very important, which are BODS, Business Objects Data Services. Now it is no more called as Business Objects Data, it is SAP Data Services. They removed the name of Business Objects from there, and it is part of Enterprise Information Management portfolio of SAP. And then you got several SAP's own data provisioning technologies, which are smart data access, smart data integration, and smart data streaming. Very powerful, these three, and SAP investing a lot of money in these three technologies to get to provide a lot of benefits to the customer to use their own technologies rather than other ones. You got also SLT, which we don't see much here, but you still use SLT if you want it, but you don't use much for the BW extractions and etc. purpose, which is landscape transformation server to migrate the data from. It's usually to transfer. It is also a data transfer tool provided by SAP. Okay, coming to the journey roadmap, it's pretty easy. You can see initially 7.3 powered by HANA, and then 7.4. These are the BW service packs and versions which we seeing here. And then 7.45 powered by HANA, and then with the 7.5 they changed it to edition for HANA. That's the change. So in order to go with the edition for HANA, you will install a separate pack which is called B4H pack, and that's the readiness for BW for HANA system. You can directly go to the BW for HANA, or but you have to be in order to get all the features of BW for HANA, you must have this pack, service pack, also BW B4H enhancement pack to work on it. Okay, there is some information around here. Whatever I discussed just now with you, I put together here, and you can go through it later. I'm going to share this one with you. Yeah, I'm jumping on to the Sidecar one. Yeah, this is simple. There is no big use case of this Sidecar implementation. It's just Sidecar means you already having a big implementation and you wanted to use your application without any business interruption, no disruption, and then you can use the HANA database as an accelerator or enterprise data warehouse to do all the applications in the native way instead of using the ECC application way of doing the things. So you can use SLT as a replication tool. All your data can be replicated or transferred to this application, and then you can work on building the views and etc. It could be your ECC system or it could be BW system, but my objective is not to interrupt anything in the application. Business will go as it always, and then I build all my own new analytics or new modeling stuff in the native database, in the HANA database as a separate development, which is called Sidecar. Yeah, it's some clients who wanted to try, but not very popular. Okay, and jumping on to the S4. Yeah, this is the most popular in the market, and this is going to be the future direction by SAP and future direction for all the customers. A lot of craziness in the market with the S4 trend, with the digital business and etc. And let's spend a little more time in S4 HANA here. Yeah, we've just seen the roadmap of S4, how it got introduced with Simple Finance, and now eventually they turned it into S4. You can see from the basic agenda of S4 HANA is to minimize the data footprint in the system. So they're going to be very less data existence. For example, I have 30 GB, so 500 GB of data in my traditional SAP system. Even before applying the S4 HANA system, the data compression rate is still not very big. So I will get only up to 5% data footprint benefit when I migrate to HANA suite on HANA, which is your ECC on HANA. But with S4, a lot of things happen, and the data tables got simplified. So, for example, if I take the financial data processing, there are like huge bunch of tables we always use, and then with the S4 Simple Finance, all the tables got simplified, and we got a universal ledger, which is ACDOC. That's the one table, and then there are several few master data tables surrounded by that. So, which makes a lot of data footprint out of the context, and then the developers can easily work. There's going to be less dependency on the functional consultants going forward. Just pros on the front hand, you got on the front end side, you got Fiori and UI5 applications, which can access the data from the database table using OData service as a gateway, the RESTful web services. And then that's it. You got to be a front-end Java developer to work on web developments with HTML page development and CSS and etc. Mostly the people who come from Java background can do better than the regular SAP coding guys in this particular space, because of the reason that they have a lot of potential coding background with Java, Java Query, jQuery, and AngularJS. A lot of library functions they already understand very well in from their perspective, and they also have good knowledge over the UI5 functionalities and etc. So it's pretty much comfortable zone for the the Java background developers to work on front-end developments, UI5 Fiori with jQuery and AngularJS scripting. On the back end, you got these ones to be familiar with, which is your database developments are going to be in procedures, which are your stored procedures in HANA. Probably if you're coming from a different database application background, you would have seen a lot of stored procedures in the system. Like a programs, you execute all your code put it in a procedure, wrap it up, and run this procedure. It's a program, and then instead of writing a BAP coding, which is OpenSQL based and it's the function modules, procedure, etc. SAP turned all the paradigm shift to SQL by using, there's going to be less importance for the ABAPers going forward if they don't migrate to the new concepts of stored procedures with SQL background, and the other concept of CDS, which is going to be core data services called completely scripted, very likely having SQL. So these two are going to be the back-end technologies used for S4. There are several projects which are already migrated to S4 HANA, but people still trying to use the ABAP coding just because of the reason that they don't understand the database procedures very well. So their comfort zone is ABAP, so they still do the ABAP programming in there. SAP suggestion is to go with the ABAP managed data procedures, which are just like a simple class here, which is going to call the database procedure inside. It's completely 99% in SQL and just wrap it with an ABAP class. So yeah, basically it's a lot of new things coming up. That's what I wanted to insist here. With the traditional ABAP BW background, there's little but I'm not saying this is going to happen very soon. It's going to take a lot of time to get up to speed with this technology, because it requires a lot of user training, developer training, integrator training, and etc. To build all your data dictionary in CDS, it's not simple. You need a big consulting company to work on all data dictionary, metadata repository, and etc. to migrate it to CDS, and then which in turn builds this HANA views inside. And all your programming, which is in ABAP for 25 years, it is not so easy to go to go away just like that. It's going to take a lot of time, but just keep in mind that if you're doing things in HANA, you're just maintaining the HANA standards, which is catching up with S4 HANA features, speed and benefits. Are you still proposing the ABAP stuff? I mean, you still can do ABAP code programming in S4 as well as usual. Just you can do that, but you don't get any benefit of S4 processing speed and data intensive logic. All gets in turn to the first picture which I've shown. See, as much as data processing should be done on the data layer, not on the application layer. That's the principle, basic principle. So if you don't do that, I don't think you will be getting any benefits of HANA. You're still running on a BAP application layer, and then data transfer is going to be between database and the application. Your code is still going to be executed in application layer, not on the database layer. So yeah, SAP's suggestion is to go with the new technologies, which are CDS and database procedures, completely native to HANA SQL on the database side. On the front-end side, it's Fiori UI 5, which are front-end development, jQuery, JavaScripting, and OData services, the RESTful web services you can rely on to get the data transfer between your backend and the front-end applications. You got simple finance and ABAP layer, and you got simple logistics and embedded BW. Yeah, this is a nice use case which I've been seeing recently, gone a lot of popularity for BPC projects. You don't have to have a separate BW system, and you can just use your BW embedded add-on, which is running on S4 system, and then do the planning and consolidation right there, which makes your real-time consolidation happening on the real-time application data. On the back-end side, CDS tables, views, EMDP, database procedures, you got everything right here. And then you got tables and you can do native developments as well. So for analytics, you can see business. You can use all these ones into business objects analytics, Design Studio, Lumira as an external reporting tools. SAP Fiori UI5 also will give you a lot of analytical apps. There are a bunch of Fiori analytical apps ready-madely available in the market, and you can customize them according to your business requirement. And you got O-analysis, query browser. These are all S4 analytics part. So just a difference between S4 HANA analytics and B4 HANA analytics is S4 is basically for operational reporting, just whatever the business happened today, you wanted to report on that and wanted to make operational decisions, you go with S4 analytics. Build your models in CDS directly on S4 tables, and then just do the reporting on those CDS models is the proposed solution for S4 analytics. And there are a lot of customers, actually, a lot of customers using S4 analytics in the recent 6 months time I've seen. Very best use case for the clients and as well as for the developers as well. S4 analytics. With the CDS views on the back end, and front end you got business objects. Okay, having said that, you got the 1610 was the most popular version for S4 HANA, and then 1709 is the latest version. We got 1802 as the cloud version. I don't see on-premise for 1802. Maybe we'll be seeing something new coming up very soon for S4 in 18. Going to ABAP for HANA. So this is ABAP for HANA Perspective. We can access all the ABAP and HANA objects from this perspective. So you can see this is local TMP package, and I also got system library. I can navigate to find some of the example, some of the standard views which are already in there. So I got application for finance, and I also got application for for MM, and I also see application for master data, central master data, and etc. So I'm going into the application finance, and then I drill down to application, financial information system, SAP Fin. So I can see several data definition, core data services definitions, which 430. So there are a lot of views created for virtual data model in order to provide the SAP S4 HANA analytics. So there are going to be several reporting tools which are going to access these models, and then reporting will be done on those things. If I can click on one of the view just to show you the syntax, how it is going to look like. It's pretty much SQL type syntax. Yeah, so you got a lot of ABAP annotations which are represented with at, and then for example, for representing as a data provider or kind of data loading property, and in order to join the data with another table or view, you got associations, etc. This is a syntax, simple syntax. We got annotations for semantics and what type of data object it is, etc. Yeah, basically this is what CDS is going to be, and you will create all your data definition objects and database objects using this CDS syntax, and then these objects will be automatically created in ABAP data dictionary as well, if they are created as the database objects. Any questions here? I think I have a few. Yeah, I think what is the difference between CDS tables and there is no difference. I can create. I go to ABAP dictionary and create my table, SE11, and just create table, which is going to create a database table in the background, and you can see that in the native HANA perspective as well. In this case, you are using ABAP as a system or application to create your database table. If I don't want to create that using ABAP dictionary, I can go into the ABAP perspective in HANA and then create a CDS table, which in turn creates a database table in HANA database, and it can be accessed in ABAP dictionary as well. So the methodology is different, but you're going to do the same. You're going to get the same object, CDS table, CDS view. You create it in database view, which is ABAP layer, and if you do it in CDS, that is native HANA. And even you can create your database tables directly right here. It doesn't stop you. If you directly go into the database, if you have the access, you can just go into the database right here and then just go into any schema and then just create a table, but this table right here, what you create in a native HANA database is not going to be available in data dictionary of ABAP, because this is completely native in the database. Yeah, like this. Yeah, you can just go to just put it in here, catalog, and then just create table. But these tables are native HANA table and owned by some schema. All your SAP ERP or S4 HANA tables are owned by a specific user, and you can see them under that particular schema here in this space, but not the other way around. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into the other case, native HANA. Yeah, again, this is another big use case for several clients who are running on native applications, even though they have the database. They have the ECC application. They want to try this option to get the best use of HANA native database to see what it can do. That is one type of customers which I've seen, and there are several customers who just have the database, HANA database, and don't have SAP application. That is the second use case. And third case, there are several customers like big banks and etc. They don't want to disturb the regular BW system, and they wanted to try all their new developments in separate HANA database. They get the license for HANA database, just the database, and there is no ERP or any ABAP application running on this particular database. And then all your developments, data extractions to this database, data integrations you can do, which can be from an SAP system or non-SAP systems. Instead of using BW as a data warehousing tool to combine all the different data sources into one, the people can use the data native data base as a data warehousing application. So when you see the data warehouse, there are always two data warehouses. One is BW data warehouse, which has been popular for SAP for a while, most popular application in the market, and this native data warehouse is new, and several clients are really trying this out. I don't know whether they're getting the benefit in a huge way, but irrespective of that, it's been pretty massive try out application in the last 2-3 years. So you probably would have seen a lot of projects starting with native application modeler with calculation views, CDS, data extractions, data provisioning for using data services, SLT to data warehouse, and then directly doing the reporting analytics on top of this data warehouse without having any ABAP or BEX or any other layers. So this has been pretty widely popular in the last 2 to 3 years, and I hope it is going to be continued for next few years as well. Yeah, every use case is important. I'm saying, and you cannot be in everywhere. You will try to. I'm trying to, with this introduction course, I'm trying to say. I'm going to try to explain what are the things inside and what are the technologies you're going to work when you choose to work on this particular project. Okay, so far and there are situations when you mix up one use case with other use case. So there is pretty much open. I mean, customers are really going with open standard technologies. There is no such old school way of giving SAP ERP and no, those days gone. It's very open standard now, and the customers and SAP, because the other side of SAP changing a lot, Java, the other technologies are so changing rapidly with the Internet of Things and open standard concepts. So SAP has to catch up with those things, so that's why they changed everything, which has been running for a while in the 25. And if you see all the S4 HANA, native HANA, etc., they are all completely bunch of new stuff which you're going to learn. So there is no big advantage or asset you're going to carry if you are a traditional SAP consultant, I would say. It's an asset for sure, but it's a complete if going forward, because in order to migrate or understand the existing code, it may help a lot. But eventually there's going to be a lot of learning curve for each ABAP or BW or web application developer in SAP to learn specific technologies in use cases of it here. Let's start this one for 5 minutes, and then I'll wrap this course for today's content, and I'll go with the questions and answers. Okay, so you got several SAP or non-SAP systems. You got Smart Data Access, which is virtually access the data from any other database. It's a wrong arrow. Usually you put this SDA to other database, and to access those database tables into HANA system, and then build your models on top of those. Why it is smart? It is smart just because you're not physically storing the data in the HANA database, and virtually access the information and do the reporting on top of it. And you got persistent tables. Sometimes it is not really possible to virtually access the database table and do the reporting on those tables directly. So you got to persist, physically store the data in HANA database as well. For those things, you got persistency here. You got SLT, SDI, and BWHANA Data Services. The different tools available for real-time replication from SAP systems. You can use SLT. For the batch processing, BWHANA is the powerful tool. It can do the bunch of different extraction procedures very easily. And you got Smart Data Integration is a mix of real-time replication as well as BODS together. So you got some real-time jobs can be triggered, and then those real-time jobs can replicate data from any other system into HANA DB real-time, no gap. And you wanted to do batch processing, you got an object called flow graph, which is very exactly similar to BODS flow technology stuff. So it's basically copied everything from SLT and BODS together and given in HANA inbuilt platform. So SDA is not an outside application. SLT is an outside application. You need a separate installation and to do that. And BODS or SAP Data Services is an external tool. You need a separate installation to do that, and it is not in HANA. You got to install somewhere else, or you can install in HANA, but you run the application on a different space, not in the HANA. But SDI is configured. It's a platform thing. Similarly, SDA. So SDA and SDA these are the two data provisioning techniques which are native to HANA and running completely optimize the HANA performance to do the ETL process. There was some issues initially with SDI because it was recently released, not recently, a year ago. It is getting popular now. It got stabilized with HANA 2 SP1, and then 2 is much better, and so hoping there are a lot of other new features going to come in this SDI. And then once the data is persisted, you build your, you can put it in another layer to just, you can call this as a staging, and then you can put it all other layer to do the data warehousing, and then do the calculation views on top of them. Or you can directly do the staging, the reporting, modeling, materialized or unmaterialized views on top of the data directly. And then your reporting can be done there on there. Got a bunch of notes for whatever I discussed. I put it in there. You can just go through it later. It's two-tier architecture, very important. So far the traditional architecture is 3, which is your database, application, and then front end. So with the native warehouse, it's you got a lightweight application server running on the database itself, which is called Access application. Very, very popular and very crucial in the market now. We got Access Advanced recently with all the powerful tools in place. So Access Classic has been deprecated in the last version. Yeah, these all things are you probably would have noticed, but did not spend any time on that. Access Classic is different. Access Advanced is Access Classic provides. So for whatever you see right here is Access Classic. Yeah. So in Access Advanced, you don't do any modeling in Studio. Studio is deprecated. It's out. It's old. Current project which I'm working, I cannot use Studio. It's because it doesn't support. If you're going on a recent releases, the Studio is gone, is out. So you must consider Access Advanced with Web IDE for HANA. So I can just show, so which is going to be on microservices. There's a lot of new stuff. I don't expect you will be understanding any of this as from the SAP background at this moment. These are all the different microservices you will be working on. You will be deploying in Access Advanced in order to work in HANA Studio. So you will be having front-end tool, which is going to be Web IDE for HANA. So there is no front-end client tool going forward. It's going to be all in web. Yeah. This is the SAP Web IDE for HANA. This is the new tool released from SAP Access Advanced server. It only runs on Access Advanced server, not applicable in Access Classic. So going forward, all the new developments are going to be in this tool. It's a successor to HANA Studio. HANA Studio has been deprecated, and you can see the project is created as HANA Express. Got a database module HXC. I got a source. I right-click on say new. Then I got options to create CDS artifacts, flow graphs, calculation views, whatever. Every database repository object going to be created right there. Just doing the test to CV. And then just create it. So the layout is a little different, very similar to Web IDE, some web interface. and you got the principles remain same, but the layout changed a lot. So all your HANA Studio work is going to be done right there. Then once you finish creating your objects, you're going to deploy them using HANA deployment container, which is the which is going to create the database objects in the background. So once you deploy them, you will see those objects right there, and tables, procedures, and views, etc. Okay, so that's how the new web ID for HANA works. You'll yeah. Okay, here I have native HANA Modular Perspective. Got my user logged in here, and I got my catalog. Under my catalog, I've got all the schemas defined. Most of them are system schemas. I got my own personal schema as well. So I can see all my database artifacts here, which are tables, views, sequences, and procedures, etc. I don't have anything at this moment. I go on to the content where I can see all my repository objects to be created, which are going to be my user table defined functions, decision tables, and calculation views. So I choose one of the package right there and say create new. So you can see several views and also procedure and decision table. So these two are deprecated, and most likely it's not most likely, all the time we're going to see calculation views and procedures and decision tables. Even decision table also deprecated in the recent, which is replaced with HANA rules framework. So mostly, but we will cover the decision tables also. So analytical privileges for security access on the data, level of access. You got security um, uh, stuff where to provide the user access and roles and authorizations, privileges, etc. Provisioning is for data provisioning to create the smart data access, smart data integration to connect to different data sources from source system and do the configurations here. I got the I have an APM content, standard Shine content installed on my computer. So I can have some ready-made models already built in right there. So I go into the demo content, EPM, and I see models. I got a lot of calculation views already built on demo content. Should just click on one of the calculation view right here, and this is the demo content provided by SAP to practice or to prototype your models according to the enterprise performance management. So not a procurement model concept, which is offered by a learning team. So you see this calculation view right there. You got all the joins, unions, projections, aggregations, and ranks, etc. So we're going to see all these properties with respect to the advanced service pack SP02 in the coming sessions. From the native HANA data warehouse, in the native data warehouse, you also do the application development by building some custom apps, custom application apps using Node.js, Java scripting. So for this use case, you need to have a strong Java scripting knowledge and then application background. On the front end side, you build a UI5 apps and then deploy it in Fury, and then your data modeling is going to be in the same tables, and then you got an access application server. You do all your access control logics in access Java scripting, which is you can do Java module, or you can do all your coding can be either, it's open standard. You can do in Java module, or you can do in any of the other programming language, Java scripting, whatever the way you choose to do, you can do that right here in the program. This is for a complete application developer, so you need to have a lot of coding background to do that. So the machine learning and predictive analysis, for all those stuff, you may require the application development background with a lot of coding experience on Python or language. They are all really complete different to the SAP people. So this particular use case is completely not for SAP traditional consultants, and also this also becomes a little difficult when you're jumping, but this is most popular use case for the developments. Application development, I see not much happening in there. Yeah, but definitely a different use case in some of the customers' place. Okay, so that's the use cases for several projects. So again, I wrap it up. For every project or every phase you're going into, you need certain skills to be having with you. For BW and HANA, if you have the BW technology background with DSOs, cubes, how do they work and etc., the data extraction process and etc., which are very, very helpful, and you can advance in HANA optimized objects very easily. So that's the best fit for the BW consultants to go it in BW on HANA, and very little effort required to get into the advanced objects like ADSOs and composite providers and infosets, etc. Very little effort, I would say. And I'm going to cover that in my course in the third part of my curriculum to the students. Or it is not an expert level. I'm not going to spend every small, and I'm going to explain all the different objects and how they work, and in terms of BW on HANA. And the people who are working on above on HANA for a while, they will mostly choose S4HANA with ABAP and HANA concept. It depends on how comfortable they are in writing SQL stored procedures or CDS rather than ABAP coding. So as much as they can leverage their own ABAP skills, they will continue to do that ABAP skills, and it's still SAP giving the flexibility to do that. If the customer insists to get the best possible outcome of S4, then definitely they will have to get the benefits, understand the data, AMDP procedures and CDS concepts a lot. Okay. And then for the native HANA, yeah, for the data warehousing, yeah, your BW data warehousing skills are still valid, and you can implement right here as well, only from the data warehousing perspective, in terms of data extraction, data modeling, and then that's only from the functionality perspective. But you will be seeing a lot of other technologies for the data provisioning, and then doing the data modeling with the calculation views, SQL stored procedures, all the back end is SQL basically. That's where you'll have to focus more in. And then reporting analytics, there will be other consultants who are working. If you are good with it, you can do that, but mostly you'll have some different team analytics who can access your backend models and do the reporting on top of it. Yeah, so there is this is the place actually you see all kind of different people currently in data modeling. So when you see a job description or project requirement for data modeling, which talks about building calculation views, ETL procedures, and etc. BODS SLT, that's native HANA modeling, and could be an ABAP and HANA person, or could be a native HANA developer, could be completely non-SAP person. Everyone are really coming into this particular use case, and the certification is all about this one. HA 100 and 300 are the certification books for these use case, and this course I'm going to cover everything in this particular. The main objective of this course is going to cover the HANA data modeling, native data modeling, and I will supplement BW and HANA with the advanced objects, which means I'm not going into the traditional BW application and etc., which is only what is BW on HANA perspective. And I will also supplement S4 HANA concept to touch base on the CDS views, how do they created, and database procedures, how do they create it. And rest of thing is ABAP. I don't get into the ABAP at all. Definitely in this, it is called ABAP for HANA, but there is really, the course doesn't talk about anything ABAP for HANA. I don't remember the book name, but it is definitely CDS views and the procedures. Yeah. that's it. Application development, I'm going to cover a little bit on the application development in the last thing, which is going to be right here in my course content. Yeah, in Access Advanced using WebID for HANA, because yeah, you got to build the database model, you got access commands. The access commands, what I was showing is you got to do familiar with these commands a little bit to check some things. An administrator can help, but you will also just get some understanding is helpful. And the HDI container is the new way to deploy all your models. You will be working on the HDI container. Your regular transport mechanism, which you've been using in HANA 1.0, is gone. So a lot of things changed from 1.0 HANA's thing to HANA 2.0, and your synonyms are not very important in your 1.0, and it is leastly used, but in 2.0 synonyms is the most important object to create and work on development. Synonyms has become so important. So from HANA to Access Advanced, you got CDS certificates completely built in web application. Got the flow graphs newly advanced in WebID for HANA, and you got GitHub integration for source control. We have been experiencing a lot of issues when you're working on HANA Studio. In terms of transportation, data movement from one object to other, one object from one system to other system. A lot of source control issues, multiple developers working on different applications, different objects, same object at different places, getting into big issues with the repositories, what we are using in the HANA development perspective. This is the repositories. So this is not very good. So SAP come up with GitHub. It's not common. GitHub is being widely used by other technologies, and SAP is copying it. So all your transport source control, multiple developers working on same object is properly handled by GitHub. That's the way going forward. So I'm going to cover a little bit on GitHub as well. HDI container for transportation database module development. These are all completely brand new stuff from HANA 1.0. This is what changed in HANA 2.0 SP2 Access Advanced. So you will yeah, and you're coming to the Node.js. Yeah, all your server-side scripting is going to be on Node.js. You will build a simple server-side JavaScript example, a simple workshop to consume the data from your database modules, which are developed here, and then project this particular data into the front-end application. This is going to be the exercise about. Yeah, that's it. So this exercise is going to be very exciting, and it's been not used in the market, and it's absolutely not even 2% of the customers use this one. So that means it is the future, not right now. So if I would say, if you're looking for the current situation, I don't really say it's really a important thing to learn the WebID for HANA, but it is definitely down the line 2 to 3 years. People or the customers getting familiar with this one, and eventually they're going to use this one for sure. There's no option, because HANA Studio is deprecated. HANA 1 SP2 was the last version for Access Classic. That means whatever I was talking about here is to get into the current projects which are being running on, but in 2 years down the line, I don't think anything is applicable from the modeling perspective, especially the case where there's a lot of changes happen in the modeling native data warehousing. In terms of the concepts remain same, of it, the concept is remain same, but how do we do? It's completely changed in Access Advanced. All these things you can find them on the HANA Academy. That's the best place I would go, and then just you say everything properly categorized from the modeling perspective, and yeah, very properly categorized, and you can follow application development. You got Access Advanced. There are 110 videos on that. You really don't believe this? It's going amazingly amazed. So, but that is the future. But currently, not many customers are using the application development Access Advanced, which I just shown you. Yeah, and then you got S4HANA and BW4HANA. Hardly you see less than few 30. There's not much technically going on these ones. Other concept which I was talking about is the data provisioning, which is Data Hub is the new technology, and Aura. We're not going to get into the details of the new, and the modeling analytics is the most important topic we're going to cover. Okay, yeah, that's about database management is your SQL, your core SQL scripting we're going to see. I've got several, what is that, Sublime. Oh, God. Yeah, so I've got several syntax files which I can run through in my sessions, so I'm going to share this one. Yeah, there are a bunch of SQL script which you will be going through in the first initial session because SQL is important for sure. Okay, yeah, that's about the course and that's about the different use cases, and I'll take the questions now. Yeah. The infrastructure, yeah, the best infrastructure I would say is is Google Cloud Platform, because that's the way I got my system. So this is my HANA system. It's pay. I mean, you pay when you use it. You may have to be very careful when you are stopping when you're done with your work. So that's the cloud platform I've got, and they give $350 credit initially on your credit card, and then you can use that for a while. 1 year it is good for you. If you still want that, you can pay and go with that, or if you still, yeah, it's up to you after that. So that's about the Google Cloud Platform, and then installation is pretty easy. I put all the steps together in this document, so you can see that in my here. So this is the stuff. The first option is to get the HANA Cloud Platform thing, which this is mine. So you can this is for I think less than month time. You don't get for a long time. This is from the HANA Cloud, SAP HANA Cloud version, and then you can follow these steps to get set it up on your computer. I don't want, yeah, if you still feel uncomfortable with that, there are people from India who can offer you some ready-made services, but it is pretty easy. If you spend 2 hours, you can get through with this document. If you wanted to do this from the Google Cloud Platform, this is the SAP's step-by-step instruction to get the Google Cloud Platform instruction. You get all the step-by-step instructions to do the setup, and once you do that, you get this setup right here. What you see here on my screen. I am using the Eclipse install, and I got all the different perspectives here. You got the BW modeling. You got for the BW sessions. You got development. You got modeler. You got PlanViz for performance tuning, performance analysis, and you got admin console for security and administration. So yeah, most of the time we'll spend on modeler and then development, and then we spend a little bit time on ABAP for HANA, which is ABAP Perspective, right here. Okay, which contains which is the platform for S4HANA technical, and then you got to spend little much time on BWHANA modeling, Eclipse-based modeling tools. 4 perspectives we're going to cover. Yeah, and then finally we jump onto the Web ID for HANA in the last sessions. Yeah, if I wanted to take a look at the S4 simple Fury trial, you can just see it in action. This is how it looks like, but I'm not going to invest any time in front-end developments, and which is not my expertise. So you need a coding background, a JavaScripting, AngularJS, jQuery. I don't have much, not even intermediate control. So you got, yeah, in order to build the screens in the behind the screen, yeah, you need a lot of coding background. There are a lot of libraries given to the business users, but yeah, you see, this is approve. You want it approved, just yes, approved, and then upload, submit, and yeah, you got, in order to provide all these buttons and the screen layout, you got a lot of library functions given by UI5 application. So you'll be using standard custom templates and customize them to the business requirement, but you don't build everything from the from the ground, right? Yeah, that's about Fury and UI5 and not modeling stuff. I will definitely make sure to get in to make you to the intermediate level of these different perspectives,